Welcome to episode 394 of the Tilehurst End Podcast. We are live on location. We treat ourselves to a box, actually. We're here for the visit of Bristol Rovers at the Whitley Bowl. 12:30 kickoff. Team news is out already. Big shock, Ross, in that Charlie Savage has been dropped.
Yeah, I think we spoke about him very well on the podcast the other day. We had a really good game last week at home. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I've been a little less convinced by Elliott in the last few weeks, but he's still a good player. He's permanent, so let's go with that.
Well, this is it. And Kamara is back into the squad for the first time in a while. It's going to be interesting how that midfield copes with a fairly interesting, what should we say, midfield for the Gas.
Yeah, I think so. This is obviously Scott Sinclair, unless it's spotted Scott Sinclair when he was at the Etihad. I guess he'll be out there today. Promise on a cherry. He's not a midfielder. I'm a little worried about him. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, I'm confident. 4-0 Reading. Let's go.
And the team sheet here is quite funny. Number 6 is Mola Clinton. We knew him as Clinton Mola, didn't we?
We did use Clinton.
So,
it's Wilson James though too.
True.
So that's all right.
That is true.
Only Taylor Connor is a real name as well.
Exactly. Well, listen, the team's right here at the Stade DSL. We're going to get to it. Hopefully another 3 points for the Royals. We will catch up with you at half-time. So half-time here at the SCL. 0-0. Really good chance right at the end of the half to take the lead, but we just couldn't manage it.
Probably should have scored that.
Yeah, Ross has just walked in from the cold with chilly Reading air to settle down for a continental lager and an Italian snack. Did you get pizza? Or did you
I got pizza, but I got British ale because I'm in the UK, so I would only drink British ale, of course.
An absolute car crash of a menu.
Yeah.
So where are we at with this half, Ross? Should we be winning? Draw is a fair result at the moment.
I think that, we definitely had the best chance of the half right there at the end. I thought until those last couple minutes, they probably had the best chance of the half where they got in down the left. And there was another one where they could have shot and they just went across instead into about 3 players' legs. Thanks, guys. Good idea. So we probably should have scored there in the end, though. Nibs coming over and winning the ball on a high press. From where I was looking, it looked like Kelvin was coming across to tap that home, but I suppose we don't score, sweaty goals here at Reading. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
I mean, it's an interesting thing because we seem to be giving the ball away quite cheaply in terms of the way in which we're trying to transition and progress up the pitch. What have you made of the front 3, if you like, for Bristol Rovers? Because they've looked quite dangerous, really.
I'm quite happy. I mean, I'm never happy with an injury, but I'm not upset that Promise Omachere's gone off. I think he's been pretty decent. Obviously, Sinclair has some talent, but he's only really got in behind Craig a couple of times. I think Craig's been all right so far, and they have moved. Sim noticed the other day that they moved Bindon over to the right side, and they had Mbenge help out Garcia against Exeter. It's back in the old way today, so we've got Bindon on the left side again. So yeah, dealing with it fairly well right now, but it could certainly still go either way.
Exactly.
Reading have been the better team for my money, though.
And as you finish your sentence, we've got the celebrity. We've got a few celebrities in here actually. Sim's
so you
actually
come sit
here.
Down
Sim's going to jump in a minute for once, for the first time ever, because he's got no choice. But Tim Kilpatrick has joined us live on the pod. We're not actually live, but this will go out.
Live.
Take a seat. Take a seat. Tim is here. Well, there we go. How are you?
Okay, yeah. Okay, how are you guys?
We're very very grateful for the opportunity to be in the Dreamers Club. Anyway, put it that way. This was Junior Hoilett's box, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his family in here.
Did he choose the decor himself?
Yeah, it's his cap brand, is it? He used to have his own company which made its own range of caps and stuff. Probably not selling it very well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've stitched them right with that. Yeah, exactly. Listen, talk about your day when you are in the building at the Whitley Bowl, 12:30 kickoff. What do you have to do?
12 kickoff isn't much different to a 3 p.m. kickoff, to be honest. If you said to me, what do I do? It's hard for me to answer the question because
not a lot. Basically.
I'm sort of my main role on match day, I guess, is also have a lot of clients that are here at games. So it's more just to so the main purpose is to be there from that relationship perspective. But at the same time, I'm on hand to put out any fires that might need to be put out. Not literally,
Yeah,
should we say.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not the fire marshal, but
Good.
yeah. So it's my phone will go off a lot with
Okay.
different things, usually very, very small, but you're on hand to just do whatever needs to do. It's not necessarily just in hospitality. It could be out on the concourses, out in the fan zone, whatever I'm on hand to help with, really. And that's I'd say that's quite, for a lot of us who are working in a match day, that's probably a similar sort of job description.
And Ross picked up the other week, obviously looking at social media and the way the club is moving from a marketing point of view. Just signed a deal with Redporth.
Yeah.
Who we know. Well, I know as nice guys. Obviously, you know even better than I do. How difficult has it been in the current climate to be able to finish those deals off with people, wanting to put money into the club and kind of sponsoring a little?
I think it's fair to say this. The last couple of years have been harder. I think for us as Reading as a football club, I've been in the club almost 5.5, almost 6 years, and the first couple of years I was here, we probably signed up quite a lot of sponsors during that time, because we're very lucky, given our area, our economy, that there are lots of businesses that want to be connected with the club and probably are thriving enough to do it. I think over the last couple of years, that's obviously still the same, but given obviously very public sort of off the pitch issues, there's probably been a little bit of uncertainty as for everyone, right? So companies probably aren't as quick to want to jump in there. So and there's always that sort of balance in my job. My job is to sign up sponsors, advertisers, generate commercial revenue for the club, but also the worst thing I could do would be to try and pull the wool over people's eyes, or to try and not represent or be an ambassador for the club in the right way. Because you can't pretend, right? So we try and just have
it's not like you're coming into a really stable environment.
So you try and explain the situation. You try and explain, the reality, because often the narrative that's out there isn't always quite correct. And a lot of people might say no, and that's fine. And we'll keep a relationship, and maybe in the future that can be resparked. But at the same time, a lot of people still want to be involved. Redporth, as an example, Nick, he understands what football clubs mean to this community, and Reading Football Club in this case. And Nick wants to support the club. He wants his brand to be associated with the club, and he wanted to commit to being an official partner. And obviously, we have other partners as well. So. We're very lucky that there's plenty of businesses locally that would like to be involved in the club. If you look at Select Carleton as an example, obviously they've had huge commitments to the club over the years.
Sure.
So it has been a challenge, but also you've got to just be truthful as the truth. And in any sales, more people say no than yes. So it's just part of the game.
And Ross was wondering if you could get him a deal on the Match One shirts, cut, because he loves a shirt.
I tell you what, I was wondering, Tim, did you get to watch the game, the first half today?
I usually. It's very rare that I'll get to watch the first 15 minutes. Just because there's usually something that needs picking up, or you'll be talking with colleagues about something that's happened or something that we need to correct or whatever. But then after that, I'll usually watch the game. Although for some reason this season I found myself watching, not intentionally, there's always been something going on which has meant I'll watch less and less of the game. Right. Typically, there's no reason I can't get to watch, aside from the first 15 minutes. Usually, and maybe the first 15 minutes of the second half sometimes. Yeah.
And was your first thoughts today, rather, why is Charlie Savage not playing? Is that what you thought? Honestly, I was ready to flip this marble table up.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, football friends. Yeah.
No, I must be honest. When I wake up in the morning on match day, my first thought isn't really about the team or
it's
anything
about
like
just
that.
getting through it.
It's more something not operational, should we say? Yeah.
Make sure everyone gets their chicken and chips and their bacon batties, and we're all good.
Right. It is noticeable, like when I come. See, I only get to come once a year or so, or twice a year, or whatever. Plastic fan, And obviously, like I can see, it's like when you see a puppy every 3 weeks and it's grown so much, it looks crazy. Like it is noticeable. There's more going on like around the club every time I come back.
That's the most random thing you could say.
I know, it's the only analogy I could think of. But yeah, Tim's taken the puppy that it was Reading FC and moved on.
I take that as obviously as a compliment. I'm not sure. It's obviously, as we've discussed, there's lots more things we'd like to do. And there's some things that we just can't do right now. There's lots more things we'd like to do, and hopefully that can be built on going forward. I'm glad you think that, obviously, but
it is a very well-oiled machine. I mean, I've had the privilege of being in the box a few times, but it does seem to get more professionals are aware, but more organised as I come back.
Yeah,
that's great.
I think
the
credit,
food's been fantastic too.
I think the credit there goes to also our catering team, who we had a changeover in the summer, and things are we're really, really pleased with how things are going this season. Like always, we'd obviously want to get more people in the door, and I think it's reflective of the whole stadium. But the catering team are doing really well, and we're very lucky to work with great people there.
Well, listen, Tim, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for that.
You.
And hopefully we'll get 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the day.
Cheers, guys. So we are here at half-time in the Tilehurst End box for the day. Chips have just turned up. Massive hot dog has just turned up, which is very exciting. Toby, you wanted to come on, didn't you, and say something? So shall I ask you questions? So this is my son, because he's a number one fan of the pod. Not. What have you made of that first half?
Yeah, it was good. They had some opportunities.
Who had some opportunities? So let me ask you this, right? If you're a striker, right? If you're Kelvin and Nibs is running through, are you asking him to pass you that ball to him, or are you happy for him to take the shot? Pass. So what would you be saying to him if he didn't?
Why didn't you pass?
Yeah, he should have passed and he should have scored that. Not good at all, really. Not good at all. So the idea is that really in that position he should have been knocking it. I've completely lost his attention now because now he's eating a hot dog. So I'm gonna leave him to it and go from there.
Wonderful.
Right, we are here still at the stadium. Here he is. Since finally got on the flesh. Listen, hard-fought win against the Gas. Very, very hard-fought win. We're not going to do the pod as we normally do it because obviously it's been a little bit different in terms of the different parts that we've had today. But Sim, seeing as you've graced us with your presence for once, it's taken us to get a box for you to actually do that. What is your gut response to that win?
Look, it was a nervy win. This is a side that's still a very young one. It's an inexperienced one, and it's getting used to grinding out results against teams like this. Bristol Rovers were confident. They had good form coming into this, and I think they played well and they reacted well to going a goal down and a man down. But look, this side needs to kind of learn from these experiences and learn from really being under the cosh. It's difficult for a 16-year-old Andre Garcia to defend in a really high-pressure situation like that. Same with Michael Craig, who obviously he's done well at right back this season, but he's still learning his way there. And even Tyler Bindon and Bengay, lots of players in this team are still getting used to getting results in these kind of high-pressure situations. And look, they're showing they can do it, even though they don't have the experience. They've got the spirit, and they've got the coaching as well from Ruben Sellers, who's doing a really good job with this side. And winning is a habit. We're really picking up some momentum. Why can't we carry that on Tuesday against Stockport?
I mean, on the last one, I researched it thoroughly and realised that this was going to be our first 9-point week since 2021, and it was completely my stat, which I found great.
Stolen off me, thank you very much.
Exactly. Everyone knows that I would not have been able to come up with that stat on my own. Look, the reality is, not played hugely well in the 2 home games this week. Against Crawley this time last week, and of course today. I don't think it was a particularly good performance, but to get 9 points is obviously the absolute most we could ask for. Do you think we've got it in the locker to be able to carry on doing this in terms of continually picking up these points in these games where maybe we're not?
It's a tough one. Look, it depends on confidence, and when you just won two games on the bounce, you're bound to have more confidence going into the third one. We're going to have other runs later on this season when things are more difficult, when players get injured, maybe if we lose some people in January as well. But look, let's capitalise on this run while we've got it. Got a good opportunity to win at Stockport on Tuesday. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we beat Fleetwood after that and Cheltenham after that? But we can't get too up from a really good run that we've been on. We can't get too down if we lose a couple on the bounce as well. This team is going to go up and down. It's going to be inconsistent as we've seen already this season. But look, there's good stuff in this team as well, and why can't we, at the very least, be in contention for the playoffs going into the second half of the season? If we get an ownership change, maybe by the end of the year, maybe, hopefully, can do that. Then why can't we really kick on in the second half of the season? And this team is going to get better as we go on later in the season, because when it has games like this, it's going to learn from it. It's going to pick up experience. It's going to become a more hardened side and more kind of streetwise side as well. And if it can get results like this when it's less experienced, why can't it? Yeah. What I'm trying to convince you, Ben, is that the playoff push isn't out of the question. I think it's difficult, but if we can grind out results against teams like Bristol Rovers, who are a good side, came here and made it very difficult for us, why can't we keep that going?
I mean, that is, I think realistically,
that is a good point.
Oh, Ross is joking.
Sorry, no, that is a really good point. Just real quick, I've just chatted. Well, no, sorry, because we were on that one. But that is actually a really good point, because there's two teams this week. We talked about it on the pod with the Exeter result. There's two teams there in a row that have been on good runs, and yes, we've gotten a little bit of luck in some of them, but we've held on and we've won. And I don't know if a year ago I could have said the same. Certainly not a year ago, but even 6 months ago, would we have held on? Okay, and really kicked on like that. So it's not great to be winning, not playing as well as we can do. But at the same time, if you're winning games even when you're not playing well, what do you think we're going to do when we are playing well? Probably run into one of these stretches, like you said, where things aren't falling for us. But still, I definitely think we're going to stay in contention until Christmas at this rate.
I mean, if you obviously Steve mentioned the Stockport game coming up on Tuesday night, which is a huge game for us in terms of where we think we are ready, to go away to a team that's done pretty well since coming up from League Two last season. Were either of you not slightly surprised at the midfield changes that were made, both Kamara and Elliott coming in for Savage and Campbell, respectively?
So individually, I've got no problem with Commerical coming in, Elliott coming in, Smith coming in even. I would say overall they are better players than Wareham, Savage, Campbell. Yeah, sorry, Ben, some mild criticism of Savage, I'm sorry. Look, individually, I think these players that you brought in were probably better than the ones you started on Tuesday. But look, they played well on Tuesday. Yeah. They put in a very good first half in particular, and obviously they were part of that. I think when you've done that, you want to keep the momentum going. You want to give them a proper chance and say to people like Wareham, if you play well and you score a goal, you stay in the team and you get another chance, and let him continue doing that. Look, Smith has come back in and scored a goal, so you can't.
He was great today. He was great.
Yeah,
I have to say, he was very
actually, that's a very good point. I'll say, can we keep winning games when we're not playing particularly well? Yes, if we have players of that level of quality. And obviously there was about a week ago a little bit of rumbling about Smith, which we talked about on the last pod, but he's on track to get close to, if not beat, his record from last season, obviously with more games to his name, but still. And then you've got, Lewis Wynn, who can chip in like last week with an absolute barnstormer. You've got Tyler Binder at the back who can pass it out brilliantly. Pereira today showed his quality.
You obviously look at the goal, obviously, standard cliche, but in terms of Pereira being defensively, that was kind of the mouth moment, and he got down so well throughout the game to those shots, but also right at the end, just I hate the term, heroic defending from him in terms of keeping the ball up the net. So you have to be positive, you have to be pleased with the result. But I think you're right, saying, like we said earlier, I think we can be better than what we've been today, and certainly the first half against Exeter, I thought we were absolutely outstanding. And I was just a little bit surprised that he chose today to then go, I'm going to change it up again. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Let's talk
just on the changes before you move on. I think, to be fair, although I would have kept the the same team as we started with on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Smith is a good player, Elliott's a good player, Kamara's a good player. Elliott as well, obviously getting a really good assist for Smith in the second half. And there's kind of like an alternate reality from this when we don't make any changes from Tuesday and he gets criticised because he's stuck with Wareham and he maybe shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Maybe this was the right game, bringing in Elliott, more of a creative player, Smith, better player up top.
I guess we're a little more relaxed when we're at home than maybe we are. I mean, you raised the point, and it's something that I always completely forget and gloss over that. Andre Garcia, 16 years old. What's his?
It's hard to say because players' development is so different between individual people. Some people would just kind of like their trajectory goes up and up and up and they keep going. Some people hit a ceiling and then they kind of carry on quite steadily from there, which is absolutely fine. But at this point, we don't know. And maybe his future's at left back, maybe it's as a winger, higher up the pitch somewhere. But look, he's so confident in possession. He's so composed for a 16-year-old. I don't see why he can't keep on improving. But also, I would say he just manages minutes as well, which we've been able to do with Dean coming back in the side when he's come off the bench. But at the same time, kind of Dorset back as well to just be able to rotate a little bit between the two of them.
Ross, before you jump in, you made a really good point before the game. You talked very briefly about Mola starting for Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
And you said, would you rather have him in the team compared to, Andre Garcia at the moment?
Good question, isn't it? Because Mola actually was...
It was a right question.
That's a good point, sorry. A little pat on the back for myself there, yeah. So, no worry, All right, so Mola I thought was one of the best players of Rovers today. I thought he was really good. He had two shots on Pereira that took really good saves, especially the second one where Pereira's gone all the way up into the top right-hand side. And by the way, I think I mentioned that last week against Crawley, Button had one of his best games in a Reading shirt, in my opinion. But I've spoken a lot about how he has real trouble getting into the thirds on either sides of his goal. Pereira's just gone all the way up into the top right-hand side, which is really impressive. I'm pretty happy with how that's how he's shaken out there.
Yeah, but also with Pereira, he's so good at commanding his box, and because he's a very aggressive goalkeeper, he's got a lot of personality as a goalkeeper, and that radiates out to other people. And when you got again like Craig at fullback, when you've got Garcia at fullback, they get a lot of confidence. They get a lot of kind of second-hand authority, basically, coming from Pereira being in there.
And I think that's the thing. Yeah, he celebrated that result at the end like he basically won it. And I said in my video at the end there, I honestly feel that any other goalkeeper would have ended up conceding at that point. The pressure that he was under. Talking of physically powerful people, Ryan Jeffries. You never know what's going to happen in this box today. But
seriously,
people have chopped and changed and come in. Ryan, how did it go?
I'm great. That's the first time I think I've ever been described as physically powerful before.
Well, we were talking over to Kat, who's Ross's wife. Just for reference as well, we've got Ross's mum and dad, and we've got Ross's wife and my son sort of hiding off screen and off the mic as well at the moment. But I think it was her that asked the point about Tilehurst End 5-a-side team before the game. And Ross was touted to be playing.
Well, Ryan thought I was going to play centre, but I think Ryan and I both misjudged each other's height. Was the main thing. So I think you thought I was about as tall as you, and I think
about 6'3".
Italian 6'5" with a 5'7".
Yeah. Said he wasn't going to do it because that's what's too bad. But
I will gladly do the match report for the 5-a-side. I won't take it off.
Carry the league as that.
Right.
I'll be the sea boy.
Right, let's talk to us a bit about what you're doing as much as you can at the moment in terms of your role with this glorious football club founded in 1871.
So I've been very lucky enough to get the opportunity across the last few weeks to get involved with the club and film some behind-the-scenes content. So a lot of the Access All Areas kind of style videos that you see going out on Twitter, I'm filming at the moment, which is really cool. It's a really good experience for me.
And I think realistically from the stuff that you've done for us at the top, then has been sort of game changing really, and I know Sim would agree with that in terms of the graphics and the videos and everything else. Do you feel at home in that role in terms of communicating with the players and the staff and the way in which you're kind of getting access quite literally to the club itself?
I'm getting there. I feel definitely a lot more at home now. I'm like fourth time doing it than the first time, but I'm starting to get there. And the video edits that I'm doing in the club seem to be really enjoying at the moment. So it's all going well.
Are your grandparents missing you?
They are. They are missing me. Although my granddad did say peace and quiet. But the people that sit behind us have been asking where I am, and they're missing me quite a lot. I think maybe a little bit more than my granddad and my nan at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's about 10 years in the East Stand and now St John Daisy Stand. Have you given up the season ticket yet? Have you passed it out somewhere?
The seat's empty at the moment, but it's open to anyone with family if they want to brave it. My sister and my mum, I think, are tempted by a few, but the 12:30s have put them off. I've always said that if this opportunity were to carry on, that I would still get the season ticket, just simply because it's my seat. No one's taking that seat, so I'm gonna.
And now you're kind of on the inside of it. What's the kind of, without going into specifics and all the details, but what generally is the mood at the club at the moment amongst the staff and how things have been going off the pitch and where we're at this season generally?
The one word I'd probably describe it as is resilient. They're all there's no sort of noise around everything that's going on in the background of everything going on. They're all very focused on the task that they're doing, and they're all just very positive. Given the situation we find ourselves in, like, a lot of clubs and a lot of players at those clubs would sometimes buckle, but the guys, from what I've seen anyway, I mean, I'm not inside the dressing room, but from what I've seen on the outside, they're all good lads, all positive, all as happy as possible, and I've been lucky enough the 4 games I've covered with 4 wins, so...
You know, it's Brian's fault that we're doing, or rather fortune that we're doing so well. So basically what we're saying is we can't let you not do what you currently do.
Exactly. We might be in for another 106 if I...
Well, this is it, exactly. We just seen another win, second or third win in a week, which is incredible. Just to reiterate, that's the first 9-point week since the 20 looking at me now. It was
2021, not the 21-22.
Yes,
and it's the first in front of fans since, I think, the Mark Bowen.
Just let us play with it. That's why it's exclusive. Let us tweet the stat.
Yeah.
We're kind of going to the back end of October. Snap poll, as soon as we've got all 3 of you here. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Playoffs, yes or no? Ross?
Yes.
Ryan?
No.
Sid?
Yes.
Oh, that's me. I'm going to say no.
I just can't stop saying it because I've been saying it all season, so I have to just keep going, with my radical optimism, as Dua Lipa would say. That's where I'm at this year,
Let me push it up with Fran then, and we might look back on it in 3 weeks' time and go, what a bunch of idiots. But, do you think, bear in mind your absolute burning optimism at the start of the year, we will still get top 2?
Oh, top 2. 2 points off it right now, aren't we? Yeah, 2 points off it. So
10 past 2 on Saturday.
The 3 o'clock kick-off.
Yeah. So I guess as it stands might have changed now. But do I think? No, I don't know about top 2. It really depends on how much these players kick on. And I think that Garcia today, I thought this was his best game of the 3 in the last week. And so if he kicks on, great. And we talked about how, with the Exeter game, it was the first time I felt like we had depth on the bench in donkey's years since whenever Sim Snap was from. So, I mean, yeah, but top 2 is a really tough ask, but I'm just still super confident about playoffs. And I don't care if we end up looking like an idiot because it's more fun being optimistic, isn't it?
Let's actually enjoy the optimism rather than
That's true. That's a good point.
the last few seasons. It's always been about looking over our shoulder. It's been about having a poor start to the season or whatever it is, and then having to save the season. Let's go into the second half of the season thinking about possibility rather than just about salvage.
And you think about where we have been, as you said, particularly the Pauline's era, and it was just,
Don't remind us.
we had that really good start to the World Cup break, and then it just collapsed. We got absolutely clattered by every team we played, and it just, unravelled really quickly. So, that's a really good point in terms of enjoying the optimism. Let's turn our attention to Tuesday then. Stockport, really, really difficult game. I don't know where they are in the table currently in terms of the games currently going on, but we know that away from the a massive problem for us for a long time. You know, what we were a year ago, pretty much Wickham and the greatest game I've seen in many years in terms of the scenes at full time and the performance there.
One of the few away games you actually
Am I beating him this season? Yeah. 3,000 miles. Still on top. There you go.
Absolutely plastic. I know. I'm sorry, everybody. But like, when you look at that game, have we got enough? And I'll come to you first, Ryan. Have we got enough to be able to get something out of that game as it stands?
I'm expecting a little bit of rotation, probably similar to Tuesday night. I reckon you'll see Savage starting. I reckon Akande will come in as well. But Stockport, it's going to be a very, very difficult challenge. Coming off of 3 wins in a row now. It's a long Northern away day. They've got Ollie Norwood in the midfield. They've got a few of those pretty good sort of older experienced players.
Yeah.
I'll take a point from saying that, and maybe me being pessimistic, but I'll take a point from that.
Ross, vibes on Tuesday.
Vibes on Tuesday. I think they've had quite a good start, haven't they? Yeah. So, I mean, it's got to, the wins have to stop at some point. I'd like to see a better performance. If we can get, not necessarily the first half we got against Exeter, which was excellent. Then I think that we should be able to get at least a draw, though, because, even though they are playing pretty well, I don't know that, again, they have the quality level that we have necessarily in their team. Do they have a Lewis Wing? Do they have a Sam Smith? Great goal today, by the way. I'm confident of at least a point there, and that would be you win your home games and you draw your away games, and that's promotion form, isn't it? So that's where I'm at with it.
Be delighted with the draw, to be honest. But there's nothing wrong with drawing your away games, as Ross says. And the thing about last season is that although we didn't win many away games, we were good at avoiding defeats, particularly after that Wickham game. We were good at continuously just grinding out those 1-1s and 2-2s and whatever else it was. And look, if we can finish it with 3 wins and a draw going into those 2 cup games, Fleetwood and Cheltenham, this is going to be the last tough game we have in the league, and then we've got a little bit of a break, a little bit of an opportunity for rotation in the next 2. So give it one good go and hope we can get a result. Good performance and a draw. I'll be very happy with.
Well, listen, the mowers are out behind us. You can probably hear them as they go through. Joel Pereira is something quite bizarre. He is
he does this a lot.
His knees all the way across the length of the pitch. He's just approached the halfway. Oh, no, he's still in.
I could be wrong about this, so I think I know what he's doing. I think him and Harvey are both of the same religious denomination. Okay. I believe it's something to do with that. I could be completely wrong, so apologies to anyone who's offended if I am. But yeah, he does do this. I've seen Nibs do it as well.
Never seen it.
I noticed that before the Exeter game, Nibs and Pereira had a hug where they did a similar thing. So I think that's what's going on.
Well, there we go. The mowers are out. Not to the door to finish. We don't really know anymore. They've all got a couple of diet types of a bit of coffee, but we're all good to go. Have you enjoyed it, gentlemen?
I've popped in for the last 10 I enjoyed it.
Very nice.
To be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really great. Hospitality has been excellent. We're in, as we said earlier, Junior Hoilett's old box, which is a very emotional thing. If I'm honest, still listen every day. Lesson. Hopefully that in some capacity at some point. We will see you on episode 395. We're getting close to 4.
I know, we're getting there.
We need to sort that out. Hope you enjoyed this pod. A little bit of a different one for you. But thank you very much to the club for facilitating us to do this today. Thank you very much to everybody who has tuned in on episode 394. Well done to Ruben Sellers, his team, and of course the boys on the pitch. We will see you again very, very soon, hopefully to talk about against Stockport and progression in the FA Cup against Fleetwood Town. So it's definitely time to go. Have a good week, everybody. And as always, come on you up.